Hello, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to share my tips for making sales on Poshmark while I get some items packaged up and ready to ship out. Selling on Poshmark is one of the ways that I make an income. I've done about 500 sales on Poshmark so far, made a little over 10,000 on the app. So while I'm not the most experienced reseller ever, I do have a good amount of experience under my belt and some good tips to share with you guys. These are the main things that I have found to make sales regularly on Poshmark, so I think they're really worth sharing, especially if you more recently started selling on the app and you're just like, I don't know how the fuck to make sales. This is for you, and let's just jump right in. So my first sale that I'm shipping out is this pair of Aviator Nation sweatpants, and these sold on Poshmark for $70. This is a brand that I highly recommend being on the lookout for, Aviator Nation. If you are thrifting to resell, this is a great brand to be on the lookout for because these sweatpants sold for $70 and they even have some paint on them, which I disclosed in the listing, but even with some flaws, they still sold for $70, so you really can't beat that. So my first tip is to share your closet daily, preferably, or at least regularly. If you go onto your Poshmark listings and you click on one of your listings, it'll tell you at the top how long ago the item has been shared. So if it was, it's now January, if your item hasn't been shared since October, the chances are really low that you are going to get any eyes on your listing. So sharing your listings is very important. And there's no way to share your whole closet at once. There's no share closet and all of the listings will be shared on Poshmark. You do have to kind of share individually. There's a tool now that you can use. You can click on this kind of toolbox icon and it will allow you to then select each of your items to then share. So it's a little faster than it used to be where you had to click each item and hit share, but you do want to share them regularly. I would recommend a couple times a day. I think the times of day that I make the most sales are morning and evening. So, as long as you're sharing pretty regularly, morning and evening, you'll notice that your items will get a lot more attention once they are shared regularly. The main reason for that is if someone is searching for an item on Poshmark, they are going to be sorted by just shared. So all of the items that have been most recently shared are going to be at the top of search. So that's really how your listings will get more eyes on them when you share them. They will go to the top of search, and if someone's looking for a Madewell pair of jeans and you have a Madewell pair of jeans that you just shared, then that will go to the very top of search, and it's much more likely that your item will then be seen if you have recently shared it. So even if you only share it once a day, that's definitely better than never sharing it. So whatever works, I think the more you share, the better. All right, my next tip is to send out offers to likers. And this is primarily how I make sales on Poshmark. So when someone likes one of the items in your closet, then you'll get a notification saying that someone has liked your item. If you send out offers to those people that have liked your items, they will then get a notification both on Poshmark and on their email that's, letting them know that you are sending them an offer. And then it just gives them an incentive to buy. It's a nice discount, especially if they just really recently liked the item. Then if they are interested in buying it and you send out an offer, they are much more likely to accept it because they were just looking at it, they want it, and you sent them an offer. So with all that combined, there's a really good chance that'll result in a sale. So I think it's good to send out offers, at a minimum once a day if you want to just go that route. And just to anybody who has liked your items that day, you can send out an offer, and then they have, I believe, 24 hours to accept it. A lot of times, even if someone doesn't accept an offer I've sent within 24 hours, they'll circle back in a few days and then send me an offer that was really similar to the one I sent them. So even if the offer doesn't work out, or if the offers to likers doesn't immediately result in a sale, they then know that you are willing to negotiate. Maybe they will counter offer, or they'll send you an offer around that same price a few days later. So even if it doesn't result in a sale right then and there, it does really a lot of times then lead to a sale eventually from that potential buyer. All right, my next sale was this pair of American Eagle jegging jeans, and they're already packaged up because I already stored them. This is how I store all of my pants and jeans, is just in the clear poly mailers that they're going to ship out on. But this sold on Poshmark for $20. So then after Poshmark fees, I made $16. And this is an item that I got at the Goodwill bin, so it cost around $1, $2 for me. My next tip is to adjust your titles on Poshmark to be more SEO friendly. So I found that the best way to format your titles is to first do the brand name. So we'll do these, for example. These are American Eagle, and then the style name, so high-rise jeggings, and then the category name, so jeans. So American Eagle, high-rise jegging, jeans, and then after that I'll put all of the descriptive words like distressed or stretch denim or the size, things like that. The great thing about selling on Poshmark is if your titles and descriptions are SEO friendly, then they will show up in Google. If someone were to Google American Eagle jeans or high-rise jeans or something, they're much more likely to come up if they are formatted well. Another way to learn about kind of those descriptive keywords to add in your titles and in your description is to either look on like magazine publications, different fashion websites, or even going onto retailers' websites and looking at the items that they're selling just to get an idea of descriptive words like pleated or A-line dress or, you know, plunging neckline, things like that. If you're really unfamiliar with what kind of keywords to use, I think that is a great way to learn what kind of keywords to put in your title and in your description to help them be seen more. Alright, my next sale was this pair of Spanx jean-like jeggings in a size large, and these sold on Poshmark for $50. So then after Poshmark's fees, I made $40, and then I spent $5.99 on these at Savers. So that was a strong profit. So my next tip is to list consistently. This might be like an obvious one, but the more consistent you are with listing, the more sales you will make. If you've already listed everything that you have, relisting is a great way to kind of make a fresh new listing. And there's a lot of discrepancy on what the exact time frame is on Poshmark to wait until you can relist for it to show up as a fresh listing. And I've heard some people say 30 days, some people say 60 days, and some people say 90 days. So I believe it's 60 days, but I can't be 100% confident on that. So take that with a grain of salt. But in general, if your item has been listed for, 3 months or whatever, it is really good to use the relist feature on Poshmark. You can just go into your listing and down at the bottom hit copy listing, and then it'll bring you to a fresh new listing. And then you just have to remember to take copy out of the title so it's not obvious that it was a relisted item. But then that way it shows up as a fresh new listing on Poshmark. And I actually went back and looked at my January sales so far to see how many of my listings were from recent listings rather than items I'd had listed for a while. And 56% of my sales in January so far have been items that were only listed or relisted for the last 30 days. So it tells you that people are generally getting items that are new or fresh listings rather than ones that have a ton of likes and that have been sitting there for a while. I think most people are more likely to buy if it's a new item or a new listing. So just a little tip there, but if you don't have anything new to list, relisting is great. Obviously, listing new items is great as well, so a mixture of both is probably your best bet. My next sale on Poshmark was this pair of deer foam slippers, and these sold for $12, so a kind of a lower sale, nothing too crazy, but I still made a good profit on those. I bought them for around $2, so flipped them for $12. After Poshmark fees, I made $9.05 on these. Next tip is to go into your listings and then check the comparable sold prices for items that are very similar to the one you were listed, if not the exact same. So on Poshmark, you can check the sold items and just get a good idea of the prices that your same item has sold for in the past. So let's say I'm looking up a pair of good American skinny high-rise jeans. I could go type that in on Poshmark and then go to sold listings or sold items, and it'll show up all of the items with those with that exact description that have sold before, and that'll just give me a good idea of the price range that that item typically sells in. So that is a really good tool to be able to tell if your price point is pretty on par with everyone else's that have sold. I think it's definitely best to price a little bit above sold prices to factor in any offers or negotiations. But if your item is listed at $80 and they all have sold for $35, you probably want to relist that item and lower the price a little bit, just so that your, item is still competitive amongst everyone else and it's not just way above what people are willing to pay for it. So I think going in and just making sure that your items are priced pretty fairly is really helpful. Just getting a good feel for what that item typically sells for can be really helpful. My next tip is one I actually learned from Mogi Beth. She is a very experienced reseller, so I will link her down below. You've probably seen her before, but if not, definitely go check her out. And this tip is a pricing tip again. So on Poshmark, if you are filtering by price, which a lot of people do, there are some options to filter by price on the sidebar. And if you choose a price that is listed in 2 different categories, then you are twice as likely to have eyes on your item. So let's say you have an item price at $22. It's going to be best to actually price it at $25 because then you will land in the under $25 category as well as the $25 to $50 category. So same thing with the $50 or $100. If you mark something at $50, you will be in the $25 to $50 range and the $50 to $100 range. Same with $100. So if you have items that are priced right around those amounts, like $105 or $52 or whatever, it is best to actually put them exactly on those amounts, 25, 50, 100, 250, so that you will be in both the categories. That's a little minor one, but I have found that it actually does help. That's an easy one you can do right now too. If you just go into your listings and see any that are priced right around there and then just make them those amounts, you might be surprised at how that actually will help your item become seen a little better. And then my last tip is to optimize the aesthetic of your Poshmark closet. So if you go into your closet and you just take a quick look, what would your first impression be if you were just looking at it for the first time? I think kind of looking at your closet with fresh eyes is really helpful, and just noticing what the overall vibe is. If your photos are really dark, then maybe retaking some photos so that they're more light. Just having a consistent backdrop and kind of lighting is really helpful. Are the items at the top of your Poshmark closet the first things that people see? Are they new items? Are they currently kind of in season? Things like that will really help the overall first impression of someone who is coming into your closet for the first time. So optimizing your closet can be really helpful, and just giving the potential buyers a good first impression I think is really important. Alright guys, those are my tips for making more sales on Poshmark and just kind of the basics as far as Poshmark goes. Let me know down below if you are an experienced reseller, if you have any tips to add, if you think anything is missing from my list. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!